Welcome back to Kaboom! And we're here with a new topic that you'll love to see.
Kaboom, kaboom.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll bring you infinite luck and skills for the next time you're still fighting the final boss. Do you love our channel? Support us now and get your Kaboom membership. Get cool badges, emoticons, and infinite luck in return. There are all different kinds of video games to play, and each of them cater to a specific crowd that looks for them. While some prefer video games to be more on the balanced side, there are those hardcore gamers that want the game to challenge them to their limits. While challenging video games are not as overly common as they once were, there are still quite a few that come out every year. These are the 10 hardest video games that came out in 2020. Number 10. Doom Eternal. The much-awaited sequel to 2016's Doom was everything that we could have hoped for and more. And while it offers flexible difficulty settings that are accessible for all kinds of players, many consider Nightmare to be the true difficulty, which makes Doom Eternal one of the most challenging games that you can possibly play.
No!
Only beatable by those who can manage perfectly precise shooting and quick movement. And if you want to turn things up a notch, you can play Ultra Nightmare too, which keeps the difficulty of Nightmare, but throws in permadeath into the mix, which can nearly give you a heart attack.
Cause I got knocked off an edge again!
Number 9. Nioh 2. Nioh 2 being on this list is pretty much like fate, considering the fact that it's developed by Team Ninja. If your memory needs to be refreshed, Team Ninja is responsible for making the Ninja Gaiden games, which are primarily known for their tough as nails difficulty that challenged hack and slash fans for years. Naturally, Nioh 2 is a very difficult game too on the right settings, and its role-playing elements add the element of management to the mix as well, which gives players more to worry about than just their combat skills. The game is very entertaining in general too, so fans of such games will have a great time for all the right reasons. Number 8. Mortal Shell. After Dark Souls 3 ended the franchise and before Elden Ring was eventually announced, players wanted to get their hands on anything that resembled the Souls-like genre. Not all of the games were worth the time or money, but Mortal Shell is an exception, as it turned out to be a great action role-playing game with lots of flexibility for every playstyle. One of the most notable things about the game, though, is its difficulty, as it does not go easy on anyone and was found challenging by almost everyone who gave it a try. It's certainly not a surprise since Dark Souls 2 was known for its difficulty, so Mortal Shell is not a single step behind.
You piece of ass, son!
Number 7. Spelunky 2. Spelunky 2 is a 2D platformer that provides a classic roguelike experience with randomly generated dungeons that provide a new experience every time that you start a new level. The game encourages exploration and has multiple paths and layers to each dungeon that the player can visit for more items and treasures. The game is very difficult and is filled with hostile enemies and traps to avoid. But what sets this game apart further from the others is that it features 4-player online multiplayer that includes both co-op and competitive game modes. So you can suffer with your friends and enemies from the real world too. Number 6. Microsoft Flight Simulator. You might be a little confused seeing a simulator video game on the list, but Microsoft Flight Simulator earns this spot. It's a very realistic video game about flying an airplane throughout the entire globe, and it's used to train even real-life pilots through its amateur flight programs. The game requires precision and genuine knowledge of how you can fly an airplane, and of course teaches it to you if you don't know by yourself too. And as you'd expect, it's not an easy task to fly an airplane, and while the game is obviously not as difficult as handling a plane in real life, it's still pretty challenging.
Flying with China if we want to. I have enough fuel for anything. Now I can watch some TV shows, some PewDiePie from here. The question is, are we going in the right direction? We are! We're getting there!
Number 5. Hades. Hades is a roguelike with dungeon crawler elements, and it took the Game of the Year title from many different publications in 2020 thanks to its gameplay, art direction, music, and storyline. The game is very unapologetic about its difficulty because it's crafted for hardcore gamers who are enthusiasts of the genre. so you'll find yourself in challenging situations very often throughout your runs,
You're right.
which will more often than not lead you to losing all of your items and having to start over from scratch. It might sound a bit too daunting, but the game is very addicting to play, and thus, you don't feel like your time was particularly wasted. Number 4. Risk of Rain 2. Risk of Rain is not a game meant for everyone, but if you're looking for a good challenge, then this roguelike third-person shooter will not disappoint. The game has multiple characters to play as and allows up to 4 players to play together in order to reach the goal in every level.
Shit. That snap pack left, dude. 12 minutes? That's not bad. It's like a clutch start, I think. Wow, look at the damage. Yikes.
You'll have to kill through many enemies on every run, which even includes boss fights, and often the bosses will block your exit unless you take care of them first. And on top of everything else, the game becomes increasingly difficult as you keep playing it, making it harder and harder as you go if you weren't satisfied with how challenging it is already. Number 3. Ultrakill. While Doom Eternal is a proper Doom experience that fans and newcomers can both enjoy, it's still a modernized game. Ultrakill takes things back to the metal days and has a retro graphics and gameplay that takes you back straight into the 90s, when Quake and Doom were extremely challenging games that would make you question your purchase. The game's levels are based on the layers of the underworld from Dante's Inferno, and while you can play the game normally too, the real fun is making sure that you get an Ultrakill rank at the end of every level and perform combos to maintain style points.
There's a secret in here, definitely. There we go. Wait for it.
On top of everything else, the way to gain health is to kill enemies and absorb their blood. This game does not pull any punches. Number 2. Noita. Noita is a hardcore roguelite action-adventure video game which is developed by only 3 people, yet is remarkably a complete game filled with many interesting things. For example, the game's dungeons are procedurally generated and every pixel is physically simulated, which means that everything in the environment can be destroyed or removed, and the game does it quite realistically. This means that fire can burn through snow, for a quick example to give. And since the levels have several layers, you might discover some cool things once you fall down from a surface. The game is very challenging to play and even has permadeath, so you have to be extremely careful how you play it. And every run feels different since the procedural generation makes it unpredictable. Number 1. Demon Souls. After Dark Souls concluded its trilogy, players weren't sure if they'd see anything from the franchise again, since titles like Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring seemed to be the future going forward for Souls-like games. However, everyone was pleasantly surprised with the release of the 2020 Demon Souls remake. Since it's a remake of a game people consider even more difficult than the mainline Dark Souls trilogy, it retains the difficulty and is one of the most challenging games in the genre that you can get your hands on. And the breathtaking graphics make the experience even better.
Oh no, is this, oh no, that was your mom's favorite bench? Oh, not your granddad's last memory. Oh no.
Playing challenging video games is surely not everyone's thing, but if you're someone who has beaten some or all of these games on the hardest difficulty, then we have endless respect for you. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and to hit the subscribe button. Don't leave the video without doing those things, otherwise you'll never be able to beat a difficult game in your life again. Check out this video, it's specially selected for you. You'll like it.